स्वादयन्निह सर्वेषाम् त्रय्यन्तार्थम् सुदुर्ग्रहम् स्तोत्रयामास योगीन्द्रः तम् वन्दे यामुनाह्वयम् नमो नमो यामुनाय यामुनाय नमो नमः नमो नमो यामुनाय यामुनाय नमो नमः यत्पदाम्भोरुहध्यान विध्वस्ताशेषकल्मषः वस्तुतामुपयातोऽहम् यामुनेयम् नमामि तम् स्वधर्मज्ञानवैराग्य साध्यभक्त्येकगोचरः नारायणः परम् ब्रह्म गीताशास्त्रे समीरितः श्रीमान् वेङ्कटनाथार्यः कवितार्किककेसरी वेदान्ताचार्यवर्यो मे सन्निधत्ताम् सदा हृदि
प्रधान पुरुष व्यक्त सर्वेश्वर विवेचनम कर्मधीर भक्तिर इत्यादि पूर्वशेषो अंतिमोदिता. Did we see that पूर्वशेषो अंतिमोदिता? Yes. पूर्वशेष अंतिम उदिता. पूर्वशेषोन्तिमोदिता. Okay, so let's go to the. Let me take my glasses. So I am shlokas त्रयोदशारम्भ भाष्येन स्पष्टं व्याख्यातः. So this I am shlokaha, this verse त्रयोदश आरंभ भाष्येन स्पष्टं व्याख्यातः. Spashtam, it should be corrected in Sanskrit and also in English. SPA. The second, yeah, SPA. The word spashtam is not clear. Spashtam means clarity. Yeah, right. So I am shlokaha, this verse, fourth verse, Trayodasha Arambha Bhashyena, by the commentary on the beginning of the 13th chapter. Traya is 3, Dasha is 10, so 3 plus 10, 13. So it means 13th here. Arambha is beginning, the starting point. Bhashyena by the commentary. Spashtam Vyakhyataha, clearly explained. Spashtam clearly, lucidly, Vyakhyataha explained. So this is how the explanation follows. So Purvasmin Shakke, Paramaprapyasya Parasya Brahmanaha, Bhagavataha, Vasudevasya, Prapti Upaya Bhuta, Bhakti Rupa, Bhagavat, Va is missing. VA, Bhagavat. V is missing in English. Sanskrit Va is missing. V, yeah. Bhakti Rupa Bhagavat. Bhakti Rupa Bhagavat. Praptipaya Bhuta, second line, last part. Bhakti Rupa Bhagavat Upasana Anga Bhutam. That is in English. In Sanskrit also, Va must be added between Bhaga and Du. Next Bhagavata. Yeah, that's here. Next one. Coming to the last line, last part of the line. Bhakti Rupa Bhagavat. Yeah, there. Yeah. Okay. Now, so Praptipaya Bhuta Bhakti Rupa Bhagavat Upasananga Bhutam Praptuhu Pratyagatmana Atmanaha. Atmano will become Atmanaha. Yathatmya Darshanam Jnana Yoga Karma Yoga Lakshana Nishtha Dvaya Sadhyam Uktam. Madhyame cha Parama Prapya Bhuta Bhagavat Tattva Yathatmya Tan Mahatmya Jnana Purvika Aikantika Bhakti Yoga Nishtha Aikantika, there will be a separation, a gap will be there. Then Bhakti Yoga Nishtha Pratipadita. There will be a gap between Aikantika and Bhakti Yoga Nishtha in the fourth line. Yes. Then just a gap. Aikantika, yeah, there. That's all. Bhakti Yoga Nishtha Pratipadita. Atishayita Aishwarya Apekshanam Atma Kaivalya Matra Apekshanancha Bhakti Yogaha Tat Apekshita Sadhanam Iti Cha Uktam. Idanim Uparitane tu Shatke. Sanskrit also. Prakriti. It should be Prakriti. So it is not Prakriti, sorry. Prakarascha. Kri is extra. Kri is extra. Kri is to be, yeah, deleted. Kri is to be deleted. KAR in your English will be deleted. KAR in English should be deleted. Yeah. So again, ka will be deleted in Sanskrit. Yes, that's all. So Chanke Prakarascha Shakya Dvayodita Vishodhyante. Visarga is missing because of conjunction, of course. So Vishodhyante iti. That will become Vishodhyante. It's right. The terms are correct. So first line I have already said it. I am Shlokaha, this verse, Trayodasha Arambha Bhashena with the commentary of at the beginning of the 13th chapter. Spashtam clearly Vyakhyataha has been explained. Purvasmin Shakke, in the first 6. Now again we have the adjectives to the Lord. Parama Prapyasya. Parama Prapyasya means the highest goal, not only reachable, but also to be reached. So the highest goal to be reached or fit to be reached also. Parama Prapya is fit to be reached. The highest goal fit to be reached. Then Parasya Brahmanaha, again the highest Almighty. Bhagavataha, the Lord. Vasudevasya, the name. So Lord was of Lord Vasudeva. So what is to happen with him? Prapti Upaya Bhuta. Something becomes means to attain him. Prapti reaching. Upaya the means. Bhuta, Upaya Bhuta becoming the means. So what will be the means to attain him? Bhakti Rupa. So in the form of bhakti, in the form of devotion. Bhagavatu Upasananga Bhutam. As a part of the meditation over the Lord, Bhagavat Upasananga Bhutam. Praptuhu Pratyagatmanaha. Praptuhu Pratyagatmanaha refers to the individual soul, namely we. So Praptuhu meaning one who is reaching. Pratyagatmanaha is individual soul. So of the individual soul. So what is going to happen? Yathatmya Darshanam, the vision in true form, will be through Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga, Lakshana, Nishtha, Dvaya Sadhyam, Uktam. This shloka is indicating that, you can say, saying, Uktam it is said, last word Uktam, it means said. So Uktam is said what is said? Sadhyam Muktam. So it is achievable, it is attainable, it is reachable. So what is to be reachable? Dvaya Sadhyam. You have to reach two, B-O-T-H. You have to reach both. What both? So what are those two? Nishtadvayam, two disciplines. Two disciplines. What are those two disciplines? The Lakshanam definition. The definition, that means definitions to be followed. Then these two, namely Jnana Yoga and Karma Yoga. The total meaning of this sentence will be, this verse indicates that there are two disciplines to be achieved or achievable, namely Jnana Yoga and Karma Yoga. And also we saw the special meaning of the word yoga. So that will lead to Yathatmya Darshanam, the true form of the individual soul, Praptuhu Pratyagatmanaha, which is again in the form of meditation over the Lord, in the form of devotion, which is again Lord himself is the means of getting towards him or getting him. Praptibhaya Bhuta. Who is that Lord? Bhagavataha Vasudevasya, Lord Vasudeva. Parasya Brahmanaha, the highest Almighty. Parama Prapyasya, who is to be reachable, to be reached, the highest as the highest goal, in the first 6 chapters. The first 6 chapters here meaning the Madhyama Shatka here. Purvasmin Shatke means in the previous 6 chapters, namely Madhyama Shatka, Madhyami. So the 4th verse gives us the essence of the last 6 chapters, rather third group of 6 chapters, and that this Purvasmin Shatke refers to the Madhyama. So between the 7th chapter and the 12th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, what has been said is also indicated in this 4th verse. Or you can also say, okay, so Purvasmin Shatke is, I think, referring to first 6 chapters. Of course, Karma Yoga is there. So the Karma Yoga itself includes Jnana Yoga. While we perform the actions, we must remember, we must understand why we perform actions. Then the next sentence goes like Madhyame cha. So in the middle 6. Again Parama Prapya Bhuta. Already it was said as Parama Prapyasya Parasya Brahmanaha. So again Parama Prapya Bhuta Bhagavat Tattva Yathatmya. So again the same expression is repeated in single compound. So instead of giving so many words like Parama Prapyasya Parasya Brahmanaha Bhagavataha Vasudevasya Prapti Upaya Bhuta up to Yathatmya Darshanam. This is given in a smaller form. So Parama Prapya Bhuta Bhagavat Tattva Yathatmya. Then, so Yathatmya Darshanam is to be attained. Vision of the true form of the Lord. So Tan Mahatmya Jnana Purvika Aikantika. So this is a second special expression in the second 6 chapters. So what is to be understood? Why should we have the vision of the Lord in true form? That's a question. So again, as already we discussed earlier, that Tattva includes Purusharthas, plus of course, as you said, the Tattvam, Hita, Tattvam is like Chitta, Achita and Ishvara, these 3 Tattvas. And so we will understand what is the greatness of this vision. Why should we have the vision of the Lord in the true form, along with this Chitta, Achita and Ishvara, the sentient, the insentient, and the Lord. So Tan Mahatmya, so Tat Mahatmya, Tasya Mahatmya meaning So the greatness of that, namely Yathatmya Darshanam. Then Jnana Purvika. In order to understand the greatness of the Lord in these three terms, namely Chitta, Achita, and Ishvara, with the true form of the Lord, a knowledge is necessary. Wisdom is necessary. The wisdom precedes this vision of the true form of the Lord and to understand the greatness of the vision of the Lord. Therefore, Tan Mahatmya Jnana Purvika, that will be Aikantika. It will be individualistic. It cannot be a common one. The experience is not common to all. The experience is different, but it is also individualistic, Aikantika. It's not a question of one alone, one individual soul alone tries to reach the vision of the Lord, but each one's experience is, of course, same at the end, but because people as living beings or individual souls, they have different methods of approach. So some people achieve through Karma Yoga alone. Of course, Karma Yoga, meaning Karma Yoga is prominent. Karma Yoga is predominant. But doesn't mean that Jnana Yoga and Bhakti Yoga are not there. I told you already, there is always a mixture of all these three. So here, Karma Yoga becomes very important to some people. Jnana Yoga becomes very, very important to some people. And Bhakti Yoga becomes very important to some people. So with these, all these three methods of approach, one has the experience as individual experience. So Aikantika. So that will be again Bhakti Yoga Nishtha. So it corresponds to the discipline called devotion. The individualistic realization or wisdom leads to Bhakti Yoga. So that Bhakti Yoga has been indicated in this fourth verse. So Bhakti Yoga Nishtha Pratipadita. Pratipadita means has been presented. So Bhakti Yoga Nishtha, the discipline of Bhakti Yoga has been presented in this fourth verse. It's only indicated. It's only some summary, a very short summary of the entire 6 chapters, starting with 13th to 18th chapters of Bhagavad Gita. Then what is again the essence of these 6 chapters? Atishayita Aishwarya Apekshanam. There are some people who seek wealth or leadership, which is very wonderful, or wonder associated leadership or wonder associated wealth. So that will be the appeal to some people. So Atishayata Aishwarya Apekshanam. So here it is not referring to the individual soul, but the desire to get the wonderful wealth or wonderful leadership. So that means again, Atishayata Aishwaryam is Lord. Atishayata Aishwaryam is Lord. So some people concentrate only on approaching the Lord, whereas some other people, they seek only Kaivalya Matra Apekshanam. So they have an intermediary, what you call, like say in generally heaven in English, but moksha. Moksha is, avantara moksha is called Kaivalya, meaning the intermediary emancipation, which is again only the earlier step, the previous step to final beatitude. Therefore, Kaivalya Matra Apekshanancha, and of the desires of the Kaivalya only. So Kaivalyam, the word Kaivalyam meaning Kevalam. Kevalam means only one. So nothing else. That again, of course, it is to be explained further in the regular chapter. What exactly is Kaivalya? Kaivalyam comes from Kevalasya Idam Kaivalyam. That belongs to the only one. the only one, of course, according to Advaita, is Ekameva Advitiyam Brahma, that is Lord. But here we are talking in Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya, Vishishtadvaita tradition, that it is what we call intermediary salvation. So Kaivalya Matra Apekshanancha, then, so what is used here? Bhakti Yoga. So for both people, both kinds of individuals who seek either the Lord or the intermediary emancipation, so Bhakti Yoga will be the means. Then Bhakti Yoga, tat apekshita sadhanam iti cha ukta. If if the individual souls want only Kaivalya, Bhakti Yoga is the means. If we want the Lord to be reached, then again Bhakti Yoga will be used. So Bhakti Yoga will be utilized for both the aims, namely the final salvation and the intermediary emancipation. Again, I remind you all, which all you know, namely freedom from the birth and death cycle, that is called emancipation. But again, further experience of emancipation will be total bliss, unalloyed with unhappiness. It is not the unalloyed happiness. No unhappiness is there in the bliss. So there will be total, complete bliss. So that will be preceded by stoppage of the births and deaths. So Bhakti Yoga, Tattatapekshita Sadhanam. So Sadhanam, again, what we call Upaya. So Sadhanam is a means, the method of approach. Tattatapekshita, whatever is wanted. So Cha Uttam. And also it is said. There are two explanations for this verse. So Idanim, now, Uparitanetu Shatke, in the 6 chapters above, Prakarascha Shatkadvayoditaha Vishodhyante. So in the last 6 chapters, Idanim now, Uparitanetu Shatke, meaning the Anta is there in the last line. Anta Udita. You find that Purva Sheshonta Udita. Purva Sheshontodita is the last line in the 4th verse. Purva Shesha we remembered as without mentioning the word Shatkam, and also Purva or the Madhyama and so on. Instead of so Antima is there as Anta. Sorry, I think I did not notice the word Anta there. So the Anta is the last one. You can also say Anta is inside. The inner soul is Lord. So Purva Sheshonta Udita. Purva Sheshontodita. So Antimodita. Purva Sheshontimodita. Antima Udita. Udita has said, rather it can also say risen, R-I-S-E-N, risen. Purva Sheshontimodita. So in the last 6 chapters. So coming to this one, so Uparitane Shatke. Uparitane to Shatke, in the 6th chapter group, which is mentioned just above in the 4th verse, Prakarascha, methods, strategies, or Vishodhyante, are being analyzed now, are being researched into now from Shatkadvayodita. Shatkadvayoditaha. The Vidarga will be there while splitting these two words. So, you know, what are said, what are explained in the first 6 chapters and the second 6 chapters, Shatkadvayoditaha. Then the methods of approach of Bhakti Yoga will be discussed, will be analyzed, will be researched into in the last 6 chapters. So that will be the, coming to this, there are 3 points here in this verse. Number 1, the individual soul makes an attempt in meditating over the Lord through the devotion, on which Lord? And it is Lord Vasudeva, who is the highest Almighty and who is to be reachable in the highest sense. That will be in the first 6 chapters. Rather, here Purvas means here first 6 chapters. In this second 6 chapters, in the middle 6, you have. It's also mentioned about the first 6 chapters. Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga will go together. The first is Karma Yoga. And according to his definition, the Karma Yoga will be followed, disciplined, will be practiced. It is to understand through the first 6 that Karma Yoga is possible and Jnana Yoga is following Karma Yoga, and that is also possible. It is possible to achieve. This is the first point. Second point will be in the second 6 chapters, middle 6 chapters, again remembering the Lord as the highest Almighty to achieve, to get into. So we will understand the greatness of this true form of the Lord with the help of the wisdom, which will be individualistic realization through again Bhakti Yoga. So Bhakti Yoga will be explained thoroughly in the last, the second 6 chapters of the, as we understand from the 12th chapter. From the 12th chapter itself, that means you have the introduction to Bhakti Yoga Nishtha in the 12th chapter. Then again, the third point will be for those who seek the highest goal, namely the Lord, and also for those who seek the intermediary goal, namely what we call Avantara Moksha, called Kaivalyam. Bhakti Yoga will always help in both ways. And then finally, the fourth point will be in the last 6 chapters, methods are analyzed, researched into with the help of what has been said in the first 6 and the second 6. So that will be the meaning of the 4th verse.
There's a different reading in the North Indian text and the South Indian text. There is an extra verse questioned by Arjuna at the beginning of the 13th chapter. And Arjuna says, Prakritim Purusham Chaiva Chetram Chetra Gyam Evacha Etad Veritum Ichami Jnanam Nyayam Chakeshavaha or Chakeshava. So Arjuna asks a question about Chetra, about the field and the knower of the field, meaning the body and the soul, and which is not found in the South Indian editions of Bhagavad Gita. So, can you say something about why there are different readings and why the South Indian edition doesn't have this question but has the answer? Lord Krishna gives an answer anyway.
Can you show me the verse? If it is an interpolation, the number of verses should increase by 1. If some editions do not contain this, that means there will be the total number of verses in 13th chapter will be less than 1.
The counting system for the verses is different in the different editions. So the South Indian edition is said to have 700 verses. The North Indian edition also says 700 verses because of a difference in the way they...
No. I'm just asking for the particular chapter, not the entire Bhagavad Gita. The 13th chapter, what is the number of total number of verses?
The total number of verses in the 7th chapter is 35.
if you can show me the verse of the 13th chapter where Arjuna questions, Kshetram Kshetrajnamevacha.
Whereas in the
I-
South Indian edition, the total number is, I'm just looking, 34. So there are 35 in the North Indian edition because of the extra
that will be an
question.
increased number.
Yes. But anyhow, I can write out that that sloka, that verse, the question by Arjuna, separately. I don't know if I can. If you want me to write it out now, I can. But it seems it's the Gita Press edition has the question, I believe. And in North India, the North Indian acharyas like the Gaudiyas and some others, they have accepted this verse. But Madhvacharya, Ramanujacharya, the South Indian Sampradayas, and don't seem to accept that it's there.
I remember to have studied the verse inside the Gita. And again, we must now go into Gita Bhashyam of Sri Ramanujacharya to understand whether this verse has been commented upon.
I think the first verse, that's what I'm saying. There's no commentary by any South Indian acharya because they don't see it as part of the mula, as part of the text.
Okay. Then again, it will be relevant if the answer is found there and the question is extra.
I'm sorry.
The question is extra.
The question is
But
extra.
at the same time, if the answer is there to this question, then it will be relevant.
Right. Okay.
Even if it is an interpolation.
Yes. Okay. So I think there's not a whole the other comments that I have about this this page 31 of the commentary. It seems the main interesting part for me was the fact that bhakti yoga is an upaya or a means for those who want to seek the Lord in his Aishwarya, in all his glory, and also for those who want isolation through Kaivalya. They want to simply enjoy the bliss of the individual soul, the Brahmananda. They want to only be isolated from the Lord. And as you said, according to Vaishnava Sampradaya, that Kaivalya is only an intermediate stage to actual full moksha, and it's. But I think there's a difference between Tenacharya and Deshika Sampradaya as to the length of Kaivalya. In Deshika Sampradaya, it is a temporary thing that one can attain Kaivalya or isolation, this type of moksha, Kaivalya moksha. But it's only temporary, and then one has to either move on or move back to this material world. Whereas in Tenacharya Sampradaya, I think they're accepting it as another form of permanent moksha. So I would be very interested to know the arguments back and forth why Tenacharya Sampradaya considers it to be possible for it to be permanent, and why Deshika Sampradaya says it must only be temporary. Of course, if we see that the real aim of moksha is the service of the Lord, obviously Kaivalya is not the service of the Lord; it's simply isolation. So the normal understanding for a Vaishnava should be that it is temporary. So I would be interested to know why some people could consider it to be.
I would like to know, is there a concept in Tenacharya Sampradaya that there will be a return from Kaivalya? If the individual soul returns from Kaivalya and the Avantara Moksha and comes back to the earth as somebody, an Achetana or even Achetana, a Chetana insentient or Achetana, then that will be a temporary one. As you say, if it is a permanent moksha, then there will be no return. Kaivalya will be, of course, as you said beautifully, isolation. That's what we call it as aikantika. Aikantika is isolation. So the isolation will be permanent. If it is permanent, then it is a point of no return.
Yes, I mean
that is again point of no return to the cycle of birth and death.
According to Brahma Sutras, the end of the Brahma Sutras, anything which is real moksha, which is real liberation, there should be no return, no return. This is the last Brahma Sutra.
Nacha punaravartate, nacha punaravartate.
Right. So, it cannot be termed a type of moksha unless it is permanent. So I think this is the argument of the Tenacharya Sampradaya. If we consider it to be moksha, it must be permanent. Otherwise, we cannot consider it to be moksha. That is the logic. But it seems permanent isolation from the Lord seems to be running against the general theme of Vaishnavism in general. And even the idea of yoga to link in some way to become close to the Lord, sarupya, samipya, sarsti, sarupya, these different salokya, these different forms of moksha. And again, also my other question was kaivalya is spoken about here, but also some people believe that kaivalya and sayuja are the same thing. But I think there must be some difference between kaivalya and sayuja. In Narayana Upanishad, at the end, it says those persons who are chanting Om Namo Narayanaya, Vaikuntha Bhuvana Lokam Gamishyati, they will go to Vaikuntha Lokam. But at the end of the Upanishad, it says Narayana Sayuja Avapnoti. Sriman Narayana Sayujam Avapnoti. That Sayuja will be the goal. So how is it that the Upanishad says they will go to Vaikuntha, but then they will experience Sayuja? How can you experience Sayuja if Sayuja is Kaivalya in Vaikuntha? Therefore, I think Sayuja must be separate, must be different from Kaivalya. Sayuja must simply mean being very, very close to the Lord and not one with the Lord. That is just I can't understand. There must be a difference between Sayuja and Kaivalya. So, according to you, is there a difference between Sayuja and Kaivalya?
As you said, Sayujyam, as you said rightly, very close, getting very closer to the Lord in service. Doing service is what we call moksha. That is more important. There is a stress on the service to the Lord. So that will be another meaning of the word sayujyam. Narayana sayujyam avapnoti. It is there. So sayujyam, reaching sayujyam meaning definitely only doing service and not exactly becoming congruent to the Lord. And again, as you said, sayujya should be different from kaivalya, because kaivalya, now I understand from your word more deeply the sense. In isolation, an individual soul wants to enjoy the bliss selfishly. So it is only particularly to that particular individual. The bliss belongs to that individual. Whereas if it is sayujyam or doing service to the Lord in Vaikuntham, the final moksha center, that will be enjoying the bliss along with the other individual souls. Enjoying the complete bliss, again the presence of the Lord, the presence of the divine Lord or divine presence of the Lord with all other souls together. So the togetherness will be sayujyam. Then kaivalyam will be in isolation. I am selfish in saying that I want to meditate on God, I want to adopt Bhakti Yoga, I want to perform actions and get wisdom for myself. And all the approaches are selfish. And it's also individualistic. As you said, Sayudyam is different from Kaivalyam in the sense this is in isolation, that is in what we call a group, a bliss in the group.
Right. And this is also proved by the Veda Pramana, Tad Vishnu Paramam Padam, Pasyanti Suraya. Pasyanti is Bahuvachan, is plural, Pasyanti.
Yeah.
So if there are many people seeing Sriman Narayana in Vaikuntha, that means there's not, otherwise it would be Pasyami, right? One person seeing, there's only one entity seeing him. But because it says Pasyanti, it means that there are many jivas, there are many souls in Vaikuntha, and they are all seeing him. But again, this sayuja, you say, involves being very close to him and doing kainkarya, doing service to him. Some people say that this Pasyanti Surayaha, or seeing a Vishnu in Vaikuntha, it could be a very passive thing that we simply see him. It's a Shanta ras. Some people are talking about different rases and that relationships that we have with the Lord. And some people may simply be observing everything that is going on. For instance, I spoke with Raman Bhattar, and his idea is that the archakas who are worshipping God in the temple, when they go to moksha, they're the ones who are doing all the worship. And that everybody else is simply Pasyanti Surayaha, just watching. Just as we are in Sri Rangam when Ekadasi comes and Tirumanjanam or Abhishekam is being done to Nam Perumal, we go to the temple and we see the Lord being worshipped. But the people who are actually doing the Kainkarya are the Archakas and not the other people. So this is his conception that in Vaikuntha, only the people who are Archakas are doing the actual Kainkarya. But I think most Sri Vaishnavas think that everybody can do some sort of Kainkarya according to the will of God in Sri Vaikuntham, and that we are not simply in Vaikuntham simply passively watching everything going on.
I got a new point in your discussion. It is very nice to realize what we do. The Archakas perform the Tirumanjanam. The Bhattacharyas do the anointing Kainkarya. But as devotees, though as you say, Tad Vishnu Paramam Padagam Sada Pashyanti Surayaha. So Surayaha Pashyanti, the dwellers of heaven, say headquarters, Vaikuntham, are observing. It is also said, as you added, they are almost inert beings, idle in observation. No, I won't subscribe to that idle observation. Even in, for example, on the earth, in this world, when you go to a temple and watch the Tirumanjanam, now I feel, because of your discussion, it is better that we feel that we are the Archakas and we are doing Tirumanjanam. We must actually visualize our own enacting the Tirumanjanam. Though Archakas have the right to do it, we cannot go near and touch the idols. It is better that we visualize that we ourselves do the Tirumanjanam. That should be the spirit of participation. And that is not simply Pashyanti. Pashyanti, so many words in English, observing, looking at, seeing, and so on. It's a close observation in which you feel one with the Archaka. Again, Archaka, I told you, while performing Tiruvaradhanam, he becomes Almighty himself. So when you look at the Archaka and when you look at the God who is being anointed, then all the individual souls, again I remind you about the Veda Vakyam, the Shruti term, Earlier, he was only one. Ekameva Advitiyam Brahma. Then he made a sankalpa, decision, Bahusyam Prajayeya. Bahusyam Prajayeya. I will be born as different, many types of individual souls. So I will be many. I will become many. So our sampradaya, unlike some other schools of thought, accept the plurality of the soul. Plurality of the soul. So also the plurality remains intact in the Vaikuntham also, where all the individual souls who reached the heaven are Suris. They are called Suris. Suri in Sanskrit literally means a scholar. A scholar meaning a wise man or a wise person. So the wise people having the spiritual wisdom, that means they have realized God. They understand that the whatever Kaikarya, as you said, as we always understand from the Shastras, we can do any type of Kaikarya in the heaven, in the Vaikuntha. So taking part in any kind of service to the Lord, even if it is a small service or a great service or a closer service, which actually as you received from Raman Bhattar, some people have the right to do the real Tirumanjanam physically for the Lord, whereas all of us should have participated in the mentally anointing the Lord. So that is what the beautiful point that I get from you. So even when you go and have a darshan of the Lord in any temple, then we must realize that I do this in a simple way. I go to a temple. The Archaka is not so knowledgeable that he pronounces the words correctly, perfectly in the Namavali. When you pay for a Archana, when you pay for an Archana, depending upon the large payment that you make, the number of Namavali, the number of divine names uttered by the Archaka differs. And when it differs, what I do is I go there and then you start saying the 12 and plus 4, 16 names. Keshavaya Namaha, Narayanaya Namaha. On the Lord, again on Goddess, again 16 names. Shiyai Namaha, Amrtodbhavayi Namaha. In that way, whatever, if suppose I remember the 108 Namavali, I'll be reciting in my mind, heart, all the Namavalis. There are people who can recite without book, without paper. So they have memorized. So it is better that we do it by ourselves. Here again, many people, many great people recommend that you don't tell your Gotram, what is the origin, the name, the star, birth star, etc. What should we do is, you go and worship the Lord and tell the Archaka, please do Archana on the Lord's name. On the Lord's name. So again, when we don't have any wish to be fulfilled, that means we don't want any wish to be fulfilled. So you say, we always say, just for the sake of service, Vachika Kainkaryam we call it, oral service. Oral service is within your mind, because once you are, what you call, your vocal cords are very strong, then you cannot shout the Nama within yourself. So you say, for example, I go to the Tayar Samiti here in Srirangam and say the Bhagavad Dhyana Sopanam Stotram of Vedanta Deshika silently with the Tani and Sriman Venkatanatharya and Kavitarki Kesari at the end. Kavitarki Simmaya Kalyana Gunakali. So again, the people there, the Archakas, though Vadagalai Archakas, and there are some people standing there with different sampradaya, they will think that, oh, this fellow is only uttering Deshika Stotras. within our heart, I tell the Bhagavad Dhyana Sopanam with the Taniyans of Swami Vedanta Desika in Tayar Sannidhi and go to Perumal Sannidhi and say the Sri Stuti with the Taniyans, both Taniyans, and the beginning and the end. So why I say this is, it is better that we pray. Though sometimes we listen to the what we call Sthala Puranam, which the Archaka says after the Karpura Harati, after the camphor is lit, he will say something about the greatness of this particular greatness of the particular Kshetram. Then we may tend to listen to him, and then either before or later, when he distributes the prasad like the holy water, the basil leaf, and kumkum, then we can go on reciting the names, favorite names of the Lord. So why this is another viewpoint which many great people recommend. Don't give your name, don't give your birth star. Again, giving your name will, according to us, will be what we call Sharma used in Abhivadaye, than the name, different names that you have. Suppose you have 3 names or 4 names. Usually, odd number of names are given during the 11th day, Punyaha Vachanam of the child, for the child, 5 or 7 or 3, 5 or 7. All the 5 names. So for example, there are 2 names in Srirangam. One is Periya Perumal for the Moolavar and the Nam Perumal for Utsavar. Of course, both as Rangaraja, Ranganatha. Again, the goddess is Ranganayika, whereas some temples have more than one name.
He also has Alagiya Manavalan. So he has an odd number of names also, as you said. So this is very interesting.
No, I mean the Sanskrit name. Alagiya Manavalan, of course. Ramya Jamata.
Ubaya Vedanta. We can include
Ramya
Tamil.
Jamata. Okay. So following Tennacharya Sampradaya, you can say Ramya Jamata in Sanskrit. Okay.
Yeah.
Ramya Jamatre Namaha.
But I was going to say to you, you have to be very careful when you go into a temple if you're going to say prayers, because the archikas will get angry with you if you start saying prayers, because that is their job. and sometimes they don't like it if you say some prayer. And also, and specifically,
loudly. That's what loudly.
Yeah, so you should say softly. But I have seen in a hobalam, I went to a hobalam one time during Dhanurmasam, and they were doing the Satamurai, and there were many people there from Tenacharya Sampradayam, and they were reciting the Taniyans of Vedanta Deshika just as much as everybody else. However, in the past, we know that there have been court cases about chanting of the different Taniyans, isn't it? So you have to be very careful that you say everything very softly, or it may be some court case about that. So interesting point that you made about going to the temple. When we go to the temple, we are not just seeing, but we may actively, in our minds at least, perform some sort of kainkarya on the as the archikas are. And also, the other thing I thought was interesting, what you said, was that the archikas are actually part of the paraphernalia of God. They have become like God. And of course, even in house worship and temple worship, there's a system of bhuta shuddhi where one gets a pure body. And even Advaitis, they call ahangropasana, where you consider yourself to be like God. And the mentality of sattvika tyaga is that actually he is doing the worship. So even the archaka has to think, if he's understanding what sattvika tyaga is, he has to think that I am not actually doing, but God is doing through me, like that. So it's very interesting. God is in the temple. The archaka is God also, and the archaka God is doing through the archaka, and we are also in the temple and worshiping God, but actually God is within us and also worshiping through us. So it seems like a prapana should not go into the temple and give his name as the person who is going to do get the pala from the kainkarya or from the puja, because if I say to the archika, please do in my name, then it means that is ahankara. I should be thinking, no, that puja should be done in his name. So I could totally agree with you. That should be the mentality. However, externally, practically, when you go in, they ask you, what is your name? Again, in the Sankalpa, in the Ahobalam Mat Anikam, the Ahobalam Mat Jir makes the point that in the Sankalpa, that a prapana should not use the words Om Tat Sat, but only Om Tat. In the Sankalpa, I don't know why, but apparently prapanas should not use Om Tat Sat, only Om Tat. For some reason, I have to look that up and see why. But there is a difference between a sankalpa made by a prapana and sankalpa made by a person who is not a prapana. And it may have something to do with the idea of sattvika tyaga, whether the person thinks that he is doing the act for his own benefit, sadhana, or he is an instrument in the hands of the Lord to do the act, and God does it himself, the worship to himself. So I don't know. It seems to be like a loop here, that God is doing the worship through the archika to himself, and the archika is allowing us to do the worship of God. But actually, we think also that God is doing the worship of himself through us and through the archika. So really, everything is being done by the Lord, and nothing is being done by us. So all of these sankalpas in the name of different individuals don't make any sense, actually, if we have that mentality of sattvika tyaga. Then again, when we give the name that we give, if we give our dasanam, right, that name is a name of the Lord also. So if I go and I say Keshava as the nama, that means he is doing, not me. I can think not Keshava Dasa, but Keshava is doing the worship to himself.
The inner soul.
The inner soul. So if we start to think about this, it becomes very, it becomes very interesting to try to understand the concepts. But the main thing is that we have to have the mentality of submission whenever we do anything. And so externally, it may appear that we are doing the same thing as the smartas or the other Vaishnavas or the bhaktas, the people doing bhakti yoga. But in fact, the prapana is not doing anything. He feels that he's not doing anything, that the Lord is actually doing everything. So
it comes down to, it percolates down to what we call nishkamya karma, without any earthly desires. And again, I give you one personal example. So suppose you buy a flower bunch and offer it to the archaka to adorn the Lord. He just, because many people give many what you call materials to worship, and then as soon as your flower reaches the feet of or the neck of the Lord, divine neck of the Lord, then what I say is Gandhadwaram Duradharam Nityapushtam Karishini Ishwarigum Sarvabhutanam Tamihopakvaye Shriyam. So this is done for decoration, what we call Alankarasanam in the worship. And then either flowers or the sandal paste or anything that is good smelling, the good smelling material is given, offered to God. Now, why I say this is, sometimes we want to do it by ourselves, and at least uttering the mantras will be good. And as you said, I think for all the participants to carefully listen, Bhuta Shuddhi will make the archaka or the doer, the instrument in the hands of God to do the aradhanam. Through aradhanam will be what we call aprakrita shariram. The normal grass body of this earth will become the divine body. So that again, as you said, God is doing everything.
So, and then after we offer something to the Archika and he offers it to the deity, to the Lord, then normally they'll offer something and then they'll give something back to the person who is coming to the temple. So this giving of prasada in the form of flowers or turmeric or chandan or abhayahastam, whatever, the different things that they're offering to us, like that. Is it, we are taking it as a blessing from God, but at the same time, it seems to be like a result from what we have done. It seems to be a pala. So if we're doing palatyaga, should we accept this?
No, receiving the blessings for the blessing's sake.
For the blessing's sake.
Yeah. You receive the blessings for the final, the desire for final moksha. It's not for dharma, artha, and kama. Again, as you said, while we receive the prasad, some say food items, or you when you first you offer the food item, it is all, as we say it in Tamil, sadam, rice. That will become prasadam after it is offered. That's a good food. So when the food item is returned to us, we take that food. In the case of temple in Shiva, so what you must do is you can receive the vibhuti as prasad, the ash in the hand, the palm, and then wear it on the forehead or the place where it has been mentioned. Then you just put it off there itself. Don't bring a small amount of vibhuti to your house. That is it.
Well, I see people, even in Tyre Sanadi and Sri Rangam, they are taking a little bit of turmeric and they are leaving, most of it is being left and not being taken. But of course, for Vaishnavites, we can take kumkum and turmeric and any prasadam. We can take it to our house. We can continue to use it afterwards. But as you say, when we go to, of course, we shouldn't go to these Anya Devata temples. But in case we go there for sightseeing or something and we're offered some prasadam, we can apply it when we are there, but we should not bring it home. Is that it?
And again, when we receive some flowers or food items or anything like turmeric or the tulasi basil leaf, what we do is the other people are watching and they are feeling rather jealous, and because they are not getting a sumptuous amount or even a little prasadam. So what we do is we distribute it immediately to others. Sometimes some devotees ask us, you have some more flowers or more basil leaves, why don't you give me? So we actually distribute, we just have one leaf for us and then distribute all other leaves to others. That is also another way of our what we call palatyagam, as you said. So we share the blessing.
But I think people who are very strict prapanas, they won't go to Anya Devata temples at all. But even if somebody offers them the prasadam of Shiva or Devi, they won't take it.
No, I'm talking of Vishnu temple. When you receive basil leaf as the prasad, the turmeric, a flower garland which you have, unless it is one on the neck, when you receive it in the hand, you can share it with any other devotee. If it is one on the neck, you have to normally give it share it to your wife, or the life partner, and so on.
Right.
But otherwise,
or dispose of it to the animals.
Pardon?
After wearing it on the neck, you can keep it and you can give it to some animal, like a cow.
Eating. No. Generally, it is not done, but a man can give it to a man. A woman can give it to a woman.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right. So, but even now, the question I had for you is in Deshika Sampradaya, even after Bharanyasam, if somebody offers somebody who has done Bharanyasam some vibhuti from a Shiva temple, he can still apply it? Seems like he should not.
No.
Yeah. So after Bharanyasam, even more strict rules about Anya Devata Prasadam.
If there is a compulsion for you to take a friend to a temple of other devatas, then you go with him, you go with your friend, worship as if there is, I mean, not as if, exactly the Antaryami as Vishnu, and then in order to help your close friend to have a darshan of other devatas.
See, that is the mentality of the Madhvas. The Madhvas, they have all sorts of temples of all sorts of devatas, but they say we do the worship as we worship the Antaryami of this devata, as Sriman Narayana. So there are different opinions about this, but Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya seems to be Ekanta Vaishnavas. They seem to be very strict about Anya Devata worship, nasti. They don't want, nobody should worship Anya Devatas. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Prapadjantenya Devata, he says.
No, the pertinent point will be, the important point will be, don't ask any other devata for anything.
But we don't ask Sriman Narayana for anything either. So what is the difference? What is the difference then? We are not asking anybody for anything.
No, here is Ananya Bhakti with regard to Sriman Narayana. It is the non-seeking of the earthly things with regard to other devatas. You cannot ask for moksha from Shiva nor any other devata. Arogyam ichet bhaskarat. You have to ask for health from the sun god. Again, right. The sun god, Surya Mandala Madhyavarti Sriman Narayana. So that is another one. So,
but Shaivites, they don't see it like that. When I went with some friends of mine to the Rock Fort, and there's a Shiva temple there. Inside there are many statues of devatas, and there was one there of Surya, and underneath it said the sign in Tamil said Suryan. And so my friends didn't read Tamil, so I told them this is Suryan, and then I said Surya Narayana, and the Archika was standing there. He said, no, not Surya Narayana. He was a Shaiva. He said, no, don't say Surya Narayana, only Surya. For him it was a big problem to hear that Surya and Narayana are the same. So it's a big problem for him. And then, of course, they gave vibhuti. They also gave bananas, valaipalam to us. And my friends were taking the banana prasadam, and I said, no, it's okay. You have it. You can have it. You eat it all. You could be very happy and eat all the bananas. I
have heard from a non-prapanna. Why I say non-prapanna, I'll tell you later. A friend of mine with a non-prapanna, he said, if we worship all the deities like Sriman Narayana, Shiva, and all others, we will have all kinds of benefits, material benefits of this year. And the people who worship all the deities equally without any partiality, they are better off in this world than the Vaishnavites.
Okay, but this story is there about Tirumalasai Alvar. Tirumalasai Alvar, he was a Shiva Bhakta at one point, and he was Payalwar. I think Payalwar was saying to him, why you're doing this? Why are you trying to worship Shiva for moksha? You won't get moksha from Shiva. Shiva cannot give the moksha. So you're wasting your time. Just like trying to bring water in a bucket with a hole, or trying to water a plant which is growing upside down. It's a crazy thing. So he convinced him. This is a story of Tirumalasai Alwar's conversion from Shaivism. So Tirumalasai was converted from Shaivism by Pei Alwar. And later, of course, Ramanuja's cousin, Govinda, right, Embar, was converted also from Shaivism, because when he went to the Ganga, he found a Shiva Lingam. And Ganga or Narmada, I don't know. Anyway, usually people find a lingam in Narmada, not Ganga. But anyway, the story is while bathing in one river, he found a lingam and became converted to Shaivism, but later again became converted back to Vaishnavism. Sometimes people, when they hear these stories, they'll think, oh, Shaivism, Vaishnavism, these are all different parts of Hinduism, and one can be converted from one to the other. It's not a very big, important thing. But for Vaishnavites, it seems that like Vaishnavism seems to be completely separate from all these other forms of Hinduism. And that's why some Vaishnavas are very Veera Vaishnavas, and they say, we are completely different system than this other smarta system or worship of other devatas. So anyway, yeah.
In one of the incidents in the life of Tirumenishi Alvar is interesting because some Shiva devotees said to him, Shivat Parataram Nasti. There is no one higher than Lord Shiva. They meant as Shivat Parataram Nasti. Then this Tirumenishi Alvar is humorous in retorting back to the statement. He said, Dronam Asti Tataparam. So he meant Shiva as a type of measurement. In those days we call it Padi in Tamil, but now it is liter, L-I-T-R-E in English also. It is the oldest measurement. Instead of kilo, we have the liter, the quantitative measurement. So that measurement is called Shiva in one meaning. So that will be, he said, Dronam Asti Tatapar. There is a bigger measurement available than Shiva. But he was little sarcastic, and he was so fanatic about over his devotion to Lord Rama and Shivan Narayana that he despised Lord Shiva. Then, of course, if some people hear the story of Tirumenishi Alvar, they will get annoyed. They feel insulted because that also should not be done by a Sri Vaishnava. A Sri Vaishnava cannot scold or find fault with or what you call denigrate the god, other gods. Yeah, he is not to speak ill of other gods also. That is again will become an apachara. And the apachara will be serious because it is Bhagavata apachara. It is not Bhagavata apachara. It is Bhagavata apachara because the Lord Shiva is the first devotee of Lord Sriman Narayana, the best devotee of Lord Sriman Narayana. It is he who wrote the stotram called Mantra Raja Pata Stotram, explaining in detail the words of Narasimha Mantra, Ugram Veeram Mahavishnu. So, everywhere, even in the case of Vishnu Sahasranama, while Parvati asked what is the shortest way to say all the 1,000 names, he said only Shiva gives the clue. Give us a shortcut. Sri Rama Rama Rama.
Yes, as you say, Shiva is also one of the 12 Mahajanas, and he's a great Vaishnava, and he's in Varanasi when people are dying. Lord Shiva is chanting Ram Taraka mantra in their ears to give them moksha. So even Shiva seems to be helping in some way, at least in Varanasi, he's helping people to attain moksha, Vaishnava moksha. And he's, as you say in Vishnu Sahasranam, he's explaining like that. And Tirumalasai Alwar, when he was meditating on Sriman Narayana, Lord Shiva was coming in a Pushpa Vimana, coming in his airplane,
Aerial,
and due to
aerial path. Yeah.
due to the strength of his dhyana or meditation, that he had to come down to the earth, and he asked Tirumalasai, "Do you want any boon? Do you want any fruit from me? I can give you a benediction." And he said, "You cannot give me any benediction because all I want is moksha, and you cannot give moksha. So you can't give me any benediction." But I want to go back to that story that you told about Tirumalasai Alwar. I actually heard this story, but I think to me that story comes later in the sense when Kuresh and Periyanambi's daughter were taken to Krimikanta Chola in Tanjore. Then Krimikanta Chola, he asked Kuresha to sign a piece of paper saying that Shiva Paratanam Nasti, that Shiva is supreme. And at that time he said Dronam is greater than Shiva. So I heard that story in relationship to Kuradalwan and Krimikanta Chola, and not with Tirumalasai Alwar. You've told it as though it is a Leela of Tirumalasai Alwar. I don't know.
I have a proof in the book. I'll just take a photo and send you.
So it comes in. It probably comes Divya Suri Charitam. It comes in that book, perhaps.
I even wrote an article on Tirumeshalvar in our college magazine. How deep was his devotion?
So
and again, when Lord Shiva insisted that I must bless you with something, then Tirumeshalvar cut a joke. You insert the thread into a needle, small needle.
Yeah.
If you can do that, I will be happy.
Bless me to help me put the thread through the needle so I can fix my clothes. So very interesting. So I'm very interested in your article about Tirumalasai Alwar, or about anything about the Alwars. Is it possible that this story about this Shivam Parataram Nasti statement, is it possible that this is both there in the life of Tirumalasai Alwar and also later in the Leela of Kuradalwan with Krimikanta Chola? Is it possible to be in both?
I don't think that. No. The particular expression does not. Is not found in Kuradalwan in relation to Krimikanta Chola. Clearly, it is said in Tirumeshalvar.
Okay. All right. Great. So thank you for clearing that up. And so really, we got into a whole sidetrack when we were because the verse mentioned Kaivalya. So I became very interested to understand about Kaivalya and the difference between Sayuja and Kaivalya and different types of moksha.
But in continuation of that discussion about taking prasad from Anya Devata temple, isn't it that since they are Bhagavatas, that if you refuse their prasad, we become Bhagavata Pachara? We commit Bhagavata Pachara. Isn't it that, one has done Bharanyasam, or one who's a Prapanna shouldn't take any prasad from, Devatas, but then they are all belonging to Sriman Narayana, they are all his amshas, and therefore we're committing Bhagavata Pachara to them also, isn't it?
That is what when you feel one with the. But practically speaking, we avoid. That's all.
Yeah. I guess we try to avoid, but then if Lord Shiva says, I want to give my mercy to this person, and he sends his Mahaprasad for you, and then we say, no, I don't want it. I'm a Vaishnava. I feel, but he's also a Vaishnava. He's a Bhagavata. And we don't want any material gain or anything like that, but he's a great devotee. So if we take his prasad, it's a little bit hard to understand.
But there are extremes here also, because in North India, especially in North India, some Shiva prasada will be something like bhang. So you can't take bhang. You know, this
What is that?
liquid ganja, liquid
I don't-
ganja. In North India, in Hindi, they call it bhang. Bhang is liquid marijuana or ganja, and they offer to Shiva in North India, and especially at Shivaratri, everybody is drinking this bhang or smoking bhang or whatever.
Especially I witnessed in Bali Island, Lord Shiva is offered with eggs and meat also.
Well, it's in Bali Island, everybody is offered meat and eggs. I was in Bali Island one time for Saraswati Puja, and they brought a big roast pig to offer to Saraswati, big full pig, roasted pig, and they offered to Saraswati. And if you go to the temples there, they'll have roasted ducks and many, but especially you have to be careful when you go to Bali. If you fly on this Garuda International Airline, which is the airline of Indonesia, if you ask for Hindu meal, they'll give non-veg because they think Hindus are non-veg, because in Bali they are non-veg.
And again, on the right hand, they offer the flowers to the god. On the left hand, they smoke. They have a cigarette in hand.
Yeah, but so beside the extremes, if we get away from the extremes of the bhang, well, definitely we wouldn't want to take bhang. Even Durga is offered bhang. But, you know, if you get some banana or some flower or something, we don't want to say, no, I can't touch it, I'm a Vaishnava, but then he's a Bhagavata. All of these these devas and devis, they're all Bhagavatas, and, you know, we commit offense to them, you know. So that I understand that it's a Sri Vaishnava tradition not to do that. And maybe best just don't go to any Anya Devata temple, then you wouldn't be put in a situation like that. But if you are in a situation like that, maybe you may have to still honor that prasad in some way. Maybe touch it to your head or something, you know, because we don't want to commit offense to the Deva. Then even Narayana may get annoyed.
I appreciate your argument, Govindata Swami, about the very nice presentation that even Lord Shiva himself is the best Vaishnava devotee. Then what we can do is without refusal, you accept the prasada, you receive the prasada, and take it away, and so that they won't see that you are not consuming.
Yeah, we touch it to our head, we honor it in some way, and we could probably give it to someone. I don't know.
You redistribute it to somebody else. And again, there is what we call the taboo in receiving from some hand from some other caste, or that is the lower caste, or some people are there in Srirangam also. When they come to the temple, they bring a very big pot of prasadam, either sweet, what we call kesari, or anything else, and they start distributing at the entrance. And that kind of distribution we may not accept. And even if you are forced to accept, yes, decently accept it, and then reject it later in their absence.
कवितार्किक सिंहाय कल्याण गुणशालिने श्रीमते वेंकटेशाय वेदांत गुरवे नमः।